I'm Anita of My Duke and I podcast, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a marvelous day. And if you're seeing this show for the very first time and you like this show, please subscribe, like, and share, and hit the notification bell so when an episode comes out, you will be the first to know. Well, there's a lot to talk about. One being an article that came out in the let me just make sure which is the newspaper, the Telegraph, and it is written by Victoria Ward. And I want to talk about that because there are lots of interesting things in there, as well as the photo that was taken for, that they used for the Queen's birthday, as well as the way Camilla is going about pacifying the people of the United Kingdom because she so wants to be accepted as Queen Camilla as opposed to Queen Consort. So I want to definitely talk about that. But first, let's talk about the Telegraph article. And in that article, it does talk about how after Meghan and Harry did their interview, it seems like the interview didn't go down well with the royal family. So Prince Charles then took it upon himself, because the interview was done in 2021, March of 2021. Prince Charles took it upon himself to send Harry and Meghan a letter, with concerns about, what was said about, Archie's skin color, the comment that somebody made about Archie's skin color, and the fact that the press took it out of context and said that Harry and Meghan, alluded to the fact that the royal family is racist, So I guess, they really didn't listen to what Harry and Meghan said, and so they sent a letter to them, and Meghan responded. It seems like that's what the Telegraph is reporting, that she responded, and in her response she did bring up concerns about the unconscious biases that is in the royal family. The very same thing that Harry told Bradby about, that the comment that was made about Archie's skin was unconscious bias. So I guess even before Harry saying that, the royal family had already known from since then that what they meant was the unconscious bias that is in the royal family. So apparently, in responding to Charles's letter, Meghan felt like the response that she got, I don't know what the response is, they didn't tell us what the response was, that it was not satisfying, it was unsatisfactory. And that is one of the factors that determined her absence at the coronation of Chucky. So also in the letter, it says that Meghan apparently told Charles who the person was that made that statement. Remember when Oprah asked Meghan if she could tell her who the person was, Meghan said she felt like it would be, it would not be good for that person. It would ruin them. So, but she did tell Charles, so he's aware of who is that person. I don't know. But in the article, they said several things. They also said that, Meghan felt the way that her suicidal ideation, when she sought help for that, how it was handled, that was also unsatisfactory for her as well. And the bullying allegations, that is what they're claiming, that was not handled properly. And so Harry and Meghan are aware of how negatively that they were treated during the Queen's funeral. the days of mourning that they had for the queen, they felt like they weren't treated properly. And I feel like everybody who has an eye, or everybody who was watching, did see how they snubbed Harry in terms of not allowing him to wear his uniform at his grandmother's funeral, somebody that he was close to, the closest person that he was to in that royal family. And they did not allow him to wear the uniform, so that was really terrible. And then the fact that he found out, after the world had already found out, or when the world found out that his grandmother had passed, that was not nice. They should have had the courtesy to inform Harry before letting the world to know. After all, he was close to his grandma. There's never ever smoke without fire. Harry did say when he went to the last Invictus game, he did talk about in The Hague, when he stopped by on his way to the Netherlands to see his grandmother, he did say he was checking up on her for a reason. You could clearly see that one of the things that the staff or members of the royal family was doing is to keep the queen away from Harry. That's what they did. Even when Harry wanted to see her, they claimed that her schedule was, filled and she didn't have time for him. So he knows what he was talking about when he had that interview with Hoda, where he said he was checking on his grandmother. It seems, and I will also point out another theory that I have as well, in terms of, why they didn't want Meghan and Harry to take pictures of the queen with Archie and Lily. Birthday picture, just giving you a heads up. So all of that was said, and to me that was insightful with that Telegraph interview. It is a good, I say not interview, article. It is an interesting article. You still have to take it with a grain of salt, because the UK media, you cannot trust them. They are unscrupulous and they're not trustworthy, so you have to take everything they say with a grain of salt. But it's easy to dispute whether or not Meghan have ever sent or has ever sent a letter to Charles. So if they're making up a story like this that can be proved, it is a shame. It would be a shame on the Telegraph for somebody to come out with an outlandish lie like this. So that's the reason why I'm thinking there is a there with that letter, because it's easy to prove. Don't know if everything in it is true, how they're reporting it. So, but as I said, the palace is a safe, and nothing in the palace is confidential. I don't know if it is a Hunger game that they're playing in the palace. I don't know who it is that is putting out everything that is happening, and it seems like everything that is being said in the newspapers and on those UK channels, it seems like it's coming directly from the palace. Nobody else has nobody else has that information. It is too close to home, for somebody to be making up those stories. And I strongly believe one of the culprits is Camilla and another one is Kate, because all they're trying to do is knock down the Sussexes and put up themselves. As Harry said, Camilla she looks like she's taking no prisoners at this point. She is she's not holding any prisoners. I forgot the saying, but apparently what she's doing is trying to win the public over, and she's going out. She's really going out, and she's doing whatever it takes for that to happen. So anyways, that is sad, and let's move on to Sentebale. Let me just take my notes out for Sentebale here. So Sentebale, apparently Harry did give them $1.2 million. That was very good. And so they went from 3.1 million pounds last year, or no, 2020, to, I think their fiscal year is, I think it goes like, it's a 2 year span. Not 2 year, but it probably starts off in 1 year and end the other year, just like a school year. Okay, so school starts off in September and it ends in June of the following year. So I think their thing is like that, because they did talk about they raised 4.5 million pounds in 2021 and 2022. So their fiscal year seems to be, between 2 years. So definitely, so that is a surplus of, quite a bit of money there. And that's very, 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 very fabulous news. That's excellent news. Very good news. And also too, they had a fundraiser, and that fundraiser included a dinner with New Zealand rugby legend Dan Carter, where they also raised the money, and they had an auction with James Blunt, where they, I don't know how this auction works, but they just said it was an auction. And so they raised money from that, and their spending went from 3 million to 3.6 million dollars. So they were able to spend 0.6 million more from their fiscal year before. Maybe that was 2019 to 2020, the previous fiscal year. So they were able to spend $0.6 million more. So they went from spending 3 million to 3.6 million in 2021-22, and now they have a surplus of 950,000 pounds. Okay, so that is a very, very good. And so they said they have a reserve of wow. So they have a reserve of 900,000 pounds, and that is up from 700,000 pounds. So they have a reserve of in excess of 200,000 pounds from last year to this fiscal year, which is 2021-2022. Okay, so that is good news. So definitely Sentebale is looking good. They'll be able to help a lot of people out. And remember, the whole idea of Sentebale, it was to help young people that were suffering from HIV. And now I think this organization has expanded. It is, they've built a lot of homes in the compound, and they're helping a lot of people with mental health, with education, and what have you. So they're doing a lot of work. God bless Harry for creating such a wonderful foundation. And so Archewell did recognize Earth Day, which is today, and they talked about how how Earth Day came about. I will post something on that. I'll do a little shorts on that to sort of give you guys a little history, because it's always nice to know. You never know one day where you're going to be. You could be in New York, and you could be on that cash cab where boom boom, they said it's game time, and they're asking you all types of questions. And it's always nice to know, have a little bit of history, or to be knowledgeable, because you just never know when you're going to be called upon to answer a question, and that might be a life-changing experience for you. So Archewell Foundation did participate in the cleanup of the LA River in partnership with LA Waterkeeper, and so they did have that community participation. And the foundation did urge people to reach out to different organizations to support them, to help to preserve our world. And on the website there are tons of organizations. There's a link there, and you can go to tons of organizations to to help out. And so it's nice to see that even though Harry and Meghan are not in England anymore, and they've some of their patronages have been separated from them, although they've been able to up to still be with Well Child and SmartWorks and a few different patronages. They're still continuing with their services. As Meghan and Harry said, service is universal. The Queen didn't think that they could do it from in the United States, and they had to be in England, but you can clearly see that service is indeed universal. So they're still continuing their life service. Now we saw that the Queen had her birthday, and the royal family released a picture to commemorate the Queen's birthday with all the grandchildren in the family. Now, what was interesting there is that you can see Archie and Lily, they're not part of the picture. And I'm not saying for them to be part of it, because obviously they're in the United States and the rest of the family are in the UK. But I remember how the press, they were like being, very rude about the fact that Harry and Meghan had brought Archie and Lily to the Queen to take, photos, and they were turned away. So they were really happy about that. And I feel like, they had already taken out, the I don't know who took that picture. I don't know if it's Kit that took that picture. I have no idea who took that picture with all of them. But, the fact that they had their quote-unquote family that matters in that group, those children that matters to the Queen in that group, I feel like they didn't want Harry and Meghan to pull out their, their pictures as well with the Queen. So, they feel that was like, an upper hand, I would say, that they pulled. So, but anyways, that's okay, because it would have been nice for Archie and Lily to have a picture with the Queen where they could say, this, Harry could point out and say, this was my grandma, and this was your great grandma. Look at how you're sitting on her lap, and be able to tell a story and have a picture to tell the story with. But, the courtiers and members of the royal family, those jealous ones, they prevented that from happening. And it's a shame, because they should never use children, against, or, separate children from their family. It is a nasty game to play, so that's the game that they played. So they have all the people that they quote unquote think is important sitting around the Queen, and they deprived Harry and Meghan a picture with Archie and Lily. But in my heart of heart, I'm thinking, I hope there is some picture. We do see little baby Archie with the Queen when Meghan presented Archie to the world, but it would have been nice to see a picture with, at least the Queen holding Archie or Lily. It would have just been so nice to see, because, the Queen was a woman of her time, and a lot of people don't like the Queen and so on, because of, what she represents. And, but I feel like she inherited what she inherited. And Meghan loved her, and Meghan felt like she was somebody. Even when she passed away, Megan had beautiful things to say about her. She felt like she was a, a woman that, other women can respect what she stood for, how she stood up, in the face of, individuals in her lifetime, her 70 years on the throne. I mean to say, in these times, especially as a woman, I know it wasn't easy for her, and how she was doubted as a woman, because, how women were looked at, back in the days. So you can just imagine what she herself has been through as a woman on the throne for 70 years. So it is just sad that Archie and Lily, we haven't seen a picture per se with the Queen and them, but I hope there is something. I hope there is something that one day we can see. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So let's move on to Camilla. Camilla is really having her friends do her bidding. She has her friends going out to the press talking about how she feels, about Harry, and what he said about her in his book. And she even have her son out there. Camilla has no shame and she has no boundaries. She has her own child out there doing her bidding as well. And I had read somewhere when Camilla, who was married at the time when she was, running around with Charles, she was married to Andrew Parker Bowles, and when he saw that Camilla was, more interested in Charles than she was in him, he, he was really excited in a way, because he thought that Camilla was marrying a prince, so he let her go to marry a prince, because at the end of the day it was going to be a win-win for him. It was going to be a win-win for him, because here he would probably have access to everything, and whatever Camilla gets, she would share it with them. So same thing with Camilla's son. And and at the end of the day too, let me not say much about him, because it is his mother, and especially boys, they tend to support their mothers, and he's just being a supportive son, but he's clearly doing her bidding, and going around trying to make people feel that Camilla is the best thing since sliced bread. And she knows that the British people are not in favor of her being queen, because clearly their queen, the queen that they loved a lot, did not want her to be queen. The queen wanted her to be queen consort. And Charles, who has no shame, going against his mother's wishes, is making Camilla queen. I know the queen right now is rolling in her grave, knowing that, her wishes were not kept. So Camilla is going around trying to, convince the people that, it's the right thing to do. And I know she's going to be very nervous on the coronation day, because she knows that all eyes are going to be on her. She might even faint, I think. She knows all eyes are going to be on her. She knows people are going to be watching her every move. Because she knows she's not deserving of being where she is. She knows another woman had to die for her to be in that position. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a hot mess with them anyways over there. I definitely am going to pull out my popcorn, and I am going to be watching and taking notes for sure, because it is going to be better than comedy. That's what I think. It's going to be funny. So I will definitely be pulling out my popcorn, and I'm watching because I'm looking out for the jokes. So that is what that is going on out there. She is not winning the public eyes. They don't want to see her as queen. The polls that, you know, that is going on out there in England is saying that, you know, half of Brits don't want to see Camilla become queen. They just don't want her to be queen. They want the queen wishes to be upheld. So that is what that is going on. And also I had put out a video, and I was talking about, in the video, it was a voiceover video, and I was talking about how the royal family has been, you know, accepting gifts from different people and countries when they go on official engagements. When a member of the royal family goes on an engagement, whatever is given to them does not belong to them. It's not for them privately, because they went on government business. It belongs to the United Kingdom, not them. So there were a lot of art pieces, and those art pieces are worth millions of dollars because they were done by prolific artists. I mean to say renowned artists, and they've been able to hold on to those pieces of art, and that is literally stealing. And people are asking why these pieces of art that is from Monet and Chagall and all of those people are not part of the royal collection. Why are they in the possession of Charles? Because when everything that, not everything, but the art that the Queen had, Charles inherited it. The art that the Queen Mother had, and the Queen Mother, she knew something when she saw it. This woman was able to acquire jewelry, which is another topic that we're going to talk about. She was able to acquire, you know, those lucrative pieces of jewelry, and so also she was able to acquire lucrative art as well. She got one piece of art, I think it is now worth 20 million pounds. And who has it? Charles has it, but I think she bought that, I think she bought it for $2,000, I think, in those days, and today that amount of money is worth 120,000, and but the art itself is worth 20 million pounds, I think. So she can spot wealth and things that are valuable from afar. That woman looks like she is shady. And so that was one of the things. And I think the Guardian, they're doing a whole series that I'm going to put together. I'm going to summarize all of those articles that they're doing, you know, the series of articles that they're doing on the royal family, the cost of the crowns, the cost of the crown, it's called. And one of them is on the, you know, the pieces of art that, you know, Charles has that really belongs to the United Kingdom, the nation of the United Kingdom, and not his. And those pieces are nowhere to be found. And let me tell you something, for 1,000 years since this royal family has been running, has been in existence, they have seen everybody who is who of the art world, and they've been able to acquire a lot. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of art, valuable pieces of art, and thousands of pieces as well. I think, as they said, it's either 24 or 28,000 pieces that should be in the royal collection, and it seems like it is in the private collection of the so-called King of England. Oh my goodness, I probably need to go take a rest. By the way, guys, I have been working and working and working and working. I am going to build this house one way or the other, my vacation home. And one day, who knows, as the Sussex squad, members of the Sussex squad could stay there. Oh my goodness, I have been working hard. I just got the plan for the house, and I just made some corrections on it because I want to take advantage of the views and so on and so on. So I've been working extremely hard trying to, make money to build that house, because one way or the other I'm going to build that house. I cannot believe I was able to save and save and save to be able to buy that piece of land. And secondly, I never ever thought in my lifetime that I would be able to own a piece of land like that. I am from an island and I never had anything there. Could you believe that? When I go down, I normally go and stay by people. I never had anything of my own, and I vowed to do whatever it took to be able to have something of my own to pass on to my children, so that they could say, you know what, this is where my mom was from, and this is a place that I could go to. So I've done everything in my power to try to get that place, work overtime, sometimes very late and stuff like that. So one of these days I will show you guys that plan, and when I build a house, I'm gonna walk you guys through the building process, show you how everything unfolds and stuff like that, because I believe that we're a family, and if you guys know my story, yeah, everybody, if you believe and you are determined and you can persevere in life, the world is your oyster. You can have anything that you want to have. So as I said, I've worked hard and I finally got the land, and now I am doing everything in my power to get this house up. I'll show you guys the plan. It's going to be 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, open floor, living room and dining room. And I'll show you guys what it looks like, because I'm really excited. I made some corrections to it, and hopefully I'll get the final plan very soon, and I'll be able to show you guys. And who knows, maybe it could be one of all places that we go to, Sussex Squad. Okay, so if you don't see me much, that's what I've been doing, taking over time and developing other projects so that I could build this house. I just have to. I have to do it one way or the other. Okay? So support me on the channel. Make sure you guys watch the channel. Full disclosure. Watch the shows and so on and so on. So anyways, I said enough. I'm probably boring you guys at this point. Take care and bye.